Welcome back to Not So Grand Garage. I'm out in the shop, or at least I say I'm out in the shop. I'm doing shop stuff in the driveway because the shop's a disaster. You'll have that. We are working on my buddy's 96 Tacoma. Two-wheel drive, 5-speed, great little truck, closing in on 400,000 miles. And it has sprung a brake leak in behind this rear wheel. So, yeah. We've already narrowed down what's leaking, got the part here to take care of it. So let's get right into it. Well, this truck, like many from this era from Toyota, has the LSPV, or load sensing proportioning valve, on the rear brakes. What this little guy up here that has that rod going to it does is, as weight is increased in the bed or over the rear axle, rear suspension, that bar right there, which is connected to the rear axle, adjusts that valve and adjust the rear braking force on the fly. It's a really neat setup, honestly. But yeah, that little valve, after nearly 400,000 miles, has started to leak on the bottom. It didn't spring a major leak, thankfully, so it didn't leave him stranded or anything. But he just noticed it getting wet back here and stuff dripping off the axle. So he brought it out, and I took a look at it. You can rebuild these. Seal kit for them, about $100 depending on where you find it. But it's a cup seal, some O-rings, some washers. The issue I had with doing that on this one is I wouldn't know if it was rebuildable until I got it off and got it apart. And we didn't really have time for the downtime to figure it out. Sometimes the bores on those can wear out, which will, if you buy $100 worth of parts, you'll just be stuck with $100 worth of parts. It's not useful. So we went on and ordered a new valve. This guy right here. Now I did decide to go with OEM Toyota. Here is the part number. It's a 47910-35330. Reasons being is there are some aftermarket ones. They're, you know, $20, $30, something like that. But the reputation for them lasting any length of time is real low. Maybe a year, 6 months to a year is what people have been getting out of them from what I was seeing. So yeah, this little valve here is not a cheap part, but kind of is what it is, right? So we're gonna go on and get this one unhooked and hopefully be able to go on and mount this one up there without having to unhook the lines and stuff. Limit the fluid loss as much as possible so we don't have trouble bleeding these brakes out and everything else. Now, I did go through the rear brakes and lines and stuff on this truck not that long ago, so being able to get the bleeder screws loose and everything else shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see. First off, I'm gonna crawl out from under here and put a little plastic over the master cylinder here. Now you may be wondering what I mean by putting some plastic over the master cylinder. Well, a few years ago, I saw this trick that guy took a piece of plastic, sit it over that cap, and pop the master cylinder cap back on. Why would he do that? Well, these caps are vented, because if they're not, they would build pressure up in the master cylinder when the brakes are operating. Fluid's getting hot and everything else. So if you take a piece of plastic or cling wrap or something like that, seal off that cap, pop that cap back on there to provide some form of seal on this master cylinder, it will really reduce the fluid loss. And yeah, I was kind of surprised by that one. Learn something new every day. But anywho, I'm gonna get back under here and start getting this valve off. Now, when the truck first came out here, I went on and sprayed everything down with Croil penetrating oil. And so it's been on here for a day or two, waiting for the part to show up. So that should make things easier, hopefully. So I'm gonna start off with getting this bolt right here out of this rod. Oh yeah, there we go. Just a little fluid leakage going on. Yum, yum, yum. But yeah, I need to get this rod out. I need to get this cover off of here and see what we got going on there. Get the rod off, then get these two nuts up here taken off. That's what holds the valve itself to the mount. And then we should be able to pull the valve off and slide the new one up in place. I want to do that first and then try and change the lines over. We'll see how that works out. Here is the issue. The valve itself is completely seized to the studs on the bracket. I was able to get the bracket off the frame without breaking the bolts off, but I do not have another bracket, so I'm going to have to save this bracket. Probably going to have to cut this valve off of the bracket and use bolts to hold it in place. But yeah, that'll be fun. But we're not losing fluid right now, so I'm gonna take this into the shop, throw it in the vise, and see what we can do with it. So here's what we've got going on. These two studs are seized in this housing, and I'm not gonna get those out. So I'm gonna have to come in here with a cutoff wheel, cut through this valve right here to get these studs, cut the back side of the stud on both sides. That should let me get the valve off, and that should let me knock these bits in here out of the bracket. And then I'll just have to run some 1/4 inch or what have you, some equivalent bolts through the bracket. Bolt the bracket to the valve first, and then bolt the bracket back to the frame of the truck. I think this is going to be the easiest way to handle this, because I don't want to try and track down a new bracket. So that's what we're going to do. We'll see how it works out. Well, there we go. Easy enough. I'm going to see if I can knock what's left of those studs out of this bracket. Clean this bracket up, shoot a little paint on it, and then we should be able to bolt the bracket back to the new valve and get it bolted back up to the frame pretty easy. I'll probably go on and clean up the frame side as well, shoot a little paint on it to protect it, and coat these bolts that I'm putting back in with some anti-seize. So, you know, 300,000 more miles down the road, when I go to take this thing apart again, hopefully it'll come apart easier and we won't have any issues. But yeah, as you can see, those studs go clean through, and the corrosion around them is solid. So there was no getting those studs out. But yeah, you can, as I was saying earlier, you can rebuild these. There's a snap ring right there that holds the plunger in place. There's a couple O-rings, a couple cup seals. The plunger and sleeve, I believe, are brass, so they can wear out, especially when they've got a lot of junk built up around them on the bottom, letting stuff get up in there, cutting those seals and such, and just age and mileage. I figured it was a safe bet to go on and replace it. But yeah, with that said, you can try to rebuild them yourself and save yourself, you know, 100, 150 bucks parts cost. But yeah, let's get this cleaned up and get it back in. There we go, cleaned up with a fresh coat of paint, inside and out. I went on and painted the inside frame bracket as well after I cleaned it off a little bit. Gonna let the paint set up for a little bit. Gonna run out of the hardware store, get some hardware because I do not have bolts long enough to fit. With that said, standard 5/16 bolts will fit through the valve, so that's what I'm going to use. That's what is readily available. So yeah, we'll run down, get those, and hopefully we'll get this thing back together and get it back on the road. Well, there you have it. It's all back in place. Got the rod put back on, hardware put back in, got everything bled. Just for your knowledge, you have to remove this bracket from the frame to replace this valve no matter what, because there's a pin on the back side of this valve that sits into a groove. You can't remove it without removing the bracket. So take your time getting these bolts out, because if you break them off in the frame, that's going to make this project a lot longer than it needs to be. And yeah, 5/16 bolts fit through the valve and the bracket and everything, so that's what I slapped back in it. Everything is tight and should be good to go for another 400,000 miles. We'll see. Well, that's going to wrap this one up. Got everything bled, put back together. I got a mess to clean up. I still have an exhaust leak to sort out, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Yeah, I will say, a lot of people will delete that valve underneath, and that is an option. They will delete the return line from it because you've got a line that goes back and supplies the valve. And as the valve adjusts, it will send fluid back to the front side of the system. They'll delete that return line and put in a manually adjustable proportioning valve, and that works really well. A lot of people do it. This is a customer's truck. I didn't want them to do that. I don't really feel like modifying a brake system on someone else's vehicle. If it was mine, I probably would have gone that route. So that valve was $250 ish, and yeah, but hey, it did last 400,000 miles. We're real close to it. And this thing's driven all over the place every day. So is it a must to delete it? I mean, you're gonna have $100 in a manual valve plus the time and labor to remake lines and everything else. Does it really save you anything? Probably not. But anywho, I'm gonna wrap this one up. If you got any comments, questions, complaints, drop them in the comment section below. If you would, hit that thumbs up button. Helps out quite a bit and doesn't cost you anything. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate you watching.